president tweeting this morning, the countries that send us cars have taken advantage of the U.S. for decades. The president has great power on this issue because of the GM event. It is being studied now. Brings up the question, what we're buying in this country, where is it coming from? 56% is built domestically. What you want to focus on are the 15% of the vehicles coming from Japan and Europe. Those are two areas where the president has talked about perhaps putting some type of higher tariff on imported vehicles from there. The other part of regulation that is getting attention is whether or not the Trump administration moves to strip the $7,500 per vehicle federal tax credit. When we talked to CEOs earlier this morning, they made it clear that tax credit, that EV incentive, is needed to keep the small amount of EV sales moving higher.
I think EVs are important. EVs are important for the future. It's a starting up market, and I think a startup market needs a little help.
Long term, we believe then the electric cars have to be competitive and customers have to pay for them. But I mean, in the beginning, when you have low volumes, I mean, the cost of the batteries and electric motors are higher because the volumes are low. And then I think it's very crucial that you have these type of supporting incentives from government.
As you take a look at shares of General Motors, keep in mind that GM has pretty much used up most of its allotment when it comes to those federal tax credits. Remember, it goes to the buyers of the first 200,000 vehicles that are sold in the United States, electric vehicles sold in the U.S. GM's going to pass that threshold before the end of the year, and then the incentive is phased out over the next year. So for General Motors, for the most part, that EV incentive is going to be disappearing over the next year. Guys?
Phil, are there any other sort of wild card potential punishments that could be put in place? A lot of people talk from the tweets that the president's put out about the loan. Of course, the government made money back on the loan, lost money on the shares it had to purchase. But those two are kind of out of the question now. So any other wild cards that people
completely out of the question. Yeah, Wilf, that's completely out of the question. Look, it was a structured bankruptcy. It went through bankruptcy court. Now, you may not have liked the terms, the American public. Some people may not have liked the terms of the GM bankruptcy. But it was signed off on by a court, by a judge. You can't go back now and say, you know what, I didn't like that deal. Let's redo it. It's not how it works in bankruptcy court. So, no, all of that